An intern at an art auction house tells a lie that may take her far in the business, but not without repercussions. And there's also a romance somewhere in here, too. Let's talk about Amazon Prime's Upgraded. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my review for the new Amazon Prime film Upgraded. This is an Amazon original. You can see it streaming there right now. And Camila Mendes is the star here, hot off her role as Veronica Lodge in Riverdale. She's dabbled in movies a little bit. She had a pretty good one I liked a few years ago called Do Revenge. But now she is starring in this rom-com-esque movie. The romance is almost kind of an afterthought, as I sort of alluded to in my intro. But we'll talk about all of this here in just a moment. First, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We've got movie and TV reviews on the channel here, and just about every day something new goes up. So there's always a lot to check out. With that in mind, please consider subscribing. Click that like button, comment below, and check out the playlist on the homepage. They'll guide you to, whether your focus is more on the movie reviews, the TV reviews, or some of my more specialty stuff. All right, so Upgraded is the new movie. And this stars Camila Mendes, like I said, as a woman who is trying to get her foot in the door. Anna is her name, and she is an intern for this Miranda Priestly meets Edna Mode kind of boss, played by Marissa Tomei. She's definitely got kind of this bizarre accent reminiscent of Edna Mode, but she is certainly in her, Miranda Priestly mode as well from Devil Wears Prada. That's the Meryl Streep character, of course. And you could, I mean, there's a lot of, imitators out there, but I think Streep had sort of the gold standard with this type of a role, but we've seen it, in many other things over the years. But point being, she sort of works her way into this trip, and while the flight, the woman at the desk at the airline sees that her cohorts, her coworkers are treating her like complete garbage. They put her on a different flight that basically is a red eye, and they expect her to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning with no jet lag. So this woman feels bad for Anna and says, you know what? You're upgraded. And of course, in first class, she meets this great guy, and she sort of tells him in a roundabout way that she is actually the curator and all of this much bigger person at the art auction house than she really is. And along the way, then she meets some famous people, including two played by Lena Olin and Anthony Stewart Head, who played Giles on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We haven't seen either of them in a little while. But anyway, I think as movies like this go, you can kind of, fill in the gaps of what happens next. But anyway, so this is not necessarily a funny movie. It's labeled, I suppose, as a rom-com. But both of those angles really are sort of second stage. There's some humor, yeah. The romance is there, but by far the more interesting stuff of this movie is the business stuff and the Devil Wears Prada sort of manufactured job kind of stuff with, we have reminiscent things like Younger for that. And there's, obviously a lot of examples of that as well, going back to, the ages. But I don't know, this kind of worked for me in the way that it's not framed as a traditional rom-com, because the romance, while fine, is really kind of second stage to the focal point of the art house and her interactions with some of these people who hold these art treasures, and her interactions with Marissa Tomei. And it really turns into a sort of shift of power thing on both sides eventually. I don't know, that part was much more interesting to me than the romance. The romance is, like I said, it's fine. I don't know that there's a ton of chemistry between the two leads. So Camila Mendes, obviously, like I said, is Anna. Her beau here is Archie Renault, who I'm unfamiliar with, did not really recognize him. But he could have been really anybody. We get it. He's rich, so he's going to introduce her to some of these, people in higher society profiles and whatever, and she can talk to them about their art, et cetera, et cetera. And that part, anytime she's with them talking about art, or if she's at work, or if she's trying to hustle her way to whatever is next, this big auction. That was the stuff that was engaging to me. The romance is fine, and if you are a rom-com fan, if you are missing your Hallmark Christmas movies now that it's the beginning of the year, you'll get something out of this as well. But I think even for the fan that does not necessarily love a rom-com, but doesn't mind a romance in a movie. I mean, most movies have some kind of romantic aspect, right? This is, you could kind of cut him out of the picture, and I think the movie would have still been just as enjoyable. He doesn't detract from it, but it's definitely secondary to the main plot. But the calm part, rom-com comedy, I don't know that comedy was really that present here either. Certainly not as sharp in wit as something like The Devil Wears Prada. But look, Marissa Tomei is doing some weird accent that I loved, really sinking her teeth into this role. And I love seeing that. And Camila Mendes, look, I first knew her, as I think many of us did, on Riverdale. But the movies she's been in, I think, have showcased also a more, I don't know, mature or less soap opera side of her. Although, since this whole movie's kind of based on a lie, it's a little bit soapy too. So she's not going super far out of her comfort zone. But I think she works here. And at first I sort of dismissed this. It kept coming up on my Amazon Fire Stick as like an ad, and it just, the poster, it's just like, all right, they released so many direct to streaming rom-coms. I just didn't give it much of a second thought, but it started getting some decent reviews, and it started showing up as one of the popular movies of the week on Letterboxd, which is where I rate my movies. You can check out my link in the description there. And so I thought, oh, okay, I'll give this a shot. I was actually pleasantly surprised with it. I leave upgraded with a B. You can check this out now on Amazon Prime. So thank you for watching Dave Reviews It. We'll see you next time. So thank you for watching Dave Reviews It, and we'll see you next time. Bye.